Hi, this is Amy T. Meyer and my co host Ed Parco, and we are with, hold on, Helping the Brave. But hold on.
It's like your first time every time, I tell you.
It is, and you are my good luck charm.
No,
You
you're
make me be better.
not here. It's funny. Only when I'm here, you have a problem when you're in charge.
So I'm going to consider you my good luck charm. So thank you everybody for joining us. I'd like to introduce a veteran, Max, who is with who served in the Marine Corps, and I would like to bring him to our story. So we are going to learn about why he chose the service that he chose and all the things.
All right. My name is Max Gumbinger, Marine veteran. Served from 2011 to 2015. I was in the 13th Marine Expeditionary Unit. Did a tour on the USS Boxer all around the Pacific, Horn of Africa. It's a good time. Then got out in 2015. Went to college in UC Santa Cruz. Majored in history and politics, and now a Veterans Benefit Specialist with the Washington Department of Veteran Affairs.
All right. How did you get from Santa Cruz up to Washington?
Honestly, the price. Santa Cruz is one of the worst cities to live in.
I'm in Modesto. I know exactly where Santa Cruz is.
So you know, yeah.
It was one of my first triathlons up here in Northern California. And it's funny because my wife's from Hawaii, and we were doing it, and she's like, "This is nasty. It's dirty. It's got kelp, the stuff on me, and it's cold." It's like, yeah, that's how our beach, that's how our water here is in California, right?
No Hawaiian beaches there.
No, not at all. All right, so you were in the Marine Corps. What was your rate? What did you do in the Marine Corps?
Engineer.
Engineer. And how'd you like that? Say hi to the person behind Amy. Hi, everybody.
Where that is. It was a good time. Like many people, didn't spend too much time doing the primary job. Got sent to the armory pretty quickly, but that was a good time too.
Yeah. By the way, I'm prior Navy, so first thing when they said Marine, first thing I think of Jarhead, and thing you say of me is squid. So that's okay. That's what we do.
Oh yeah, little rivalry.
Yeah. Amy used to be in the Army, and then she went in the Navy, but she doesn't really claim it. And are you having issues there today, Amy?
No, I'm not having issues. I don't know why you would say such a thing. Why did you pick the Marine Corps? We always ask that question.
Right. Honestly, I was kind of mulling around Army for a little bit, and something about the Marines and the Marine recruiter talked me into just really prove yourself, be the best you can be, and just it stuck. I kind of saw it as that ultimate personal challenge of, if I can do this, then I've proven it.
But then you used it for what it was worth. You got your degree right afterwards, right? And then that's the most important thing. I think people don't realize it's the military for some people is a stepping stone to better and better things. And for some people, it is their everything to do with what they want to be. And that's fine. Whatever it works for you is what the military is. You use it for what it's worth for you, what your plan is. You need to go in with a plan. Most people go in with somewhat of a plan, or no plan at all. And then it just happens for them.
Yeah. Plans never survive long, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead, Amy.
So I think, like when you think of, when you served in the military, we always ask also, what do you use today, or what did you use even when getting your degree that you got from the military?
Really, that kind of realizing that it's really up to you. Everything, there's a whole wealth of resources around you to help you, but the bottom line, you have to be the one to push yourself to do things. Because I was like many veterans getting out, you really don't know exactly what you're going to do, kind of floating. But thankfully, there's a good veterans community at my community college. So it really kind of helped me realize, if this is not like the military, no one's going to tell you to show up at what time. It's all on you to keep things going.
Well, and you graduated right as a pandemic, huh?
Yeah, right. Didn't even get to walk at the graduation. But
That's okay. I didn't walk at either
Yes.
one of my two.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I walked.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, out.
I walked.
We try
but
to
I
have
was
fun on here, Max.
later than
Oh, yeah.
Ed did. So
Yeah.
Who needs a cap and gown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just extra expense. Where are you going to put it? It's only good for Halloween after that. All right. So how did you get from political science and history to do what you do now with a veterans benefits specialist?
Right. Well, I kind
As
of,
you can see, I was reading your thing because I'm sorry, I was told we weren't having this today, and then next thing I know, a minute before, hey, got to get on here, we're having it.
right. Let's make changes, right? Always fun.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm easy.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Always flexible. Honestly, I had been thinking about federal service for a little while, but the stars just really weren't aligning there for me. And I always enjoyed helping other veterans. I was in the veterans program on UCSC, a peer mentor, they call them, helping veterans just VA access, GI Bill stuff. So I thought, oh, well, look at that. The state has a organ to be able to do that. Why not try? And I've been really enjoying it since.
Now, on the benefit side, so how do you help? What benefits are you helping veterans with? Is it what is that?
So we help with claims, compensation claims, pension, not so much in the housing or education as much, because that's really mostly handled by the schools and then private lenders. But disability claims, medical care if we can, and a lot of resources for like homeless veterans. We have some transitional housing programs and reintegration programs run by the state too.
All right. So, and bear with me here. I'm sure you said it, but WDVA, I assume, is Washington Department of Veterans Affairs.
Right. Exactly.
All right. So acronyms are, we are key for in our
key.
business. But all right. So you work for the Veterans Affairs up in Washington State.
Correct? Right. Yeah. Yeah. The state. Agency.
Yeah. The real Washington.
Right. Right.
Not the DC District of Columbia.
We get confused a lot.
Yeah. Well, of course. So that takes a unique individual to work for somewhat of a government agency again after being in the military. I'm trying to be nice. Please don't take that wrong. I mean, we hear such horror stories from people who go through the Veterans Affairs in other places, and then I hear really good stories, and I hear both sides. Mm. So basically, you help people in Washington who want to do their claims and through the process.
Right.
And what do most people not do that they should do when they're getting out so that they can process their claims? Because a lot of people get out, and there's an organization I know in California, I know if they helped you was DAV, Disabled American Veterans. When you first get out, they had to go through your medical record. I don't know if they still do that, but that's where it was me. Oh, yeah. And, it took forever because we actually had medical records back then. Right. And they were like thick, right? Mine was because I worked in physical therapy and, I was a corpsman and we picked up patients and got hurt and all that. So you had all these things.
Right.
How does that do now? What can they do differently now to make sure they have those benefits?
Honestly, the biggest thing, it's not always possible, of course, but if you can get that claim started before you get out of the military, that's probably the biggest step.
So how can you do that? Is there how would you explain to somebody, say they're getting out in 6 months, what do they do?
So most bases, they'll have some kind of career center, transition center. Up here at a Joint Base Lewis McChord, we actually have one of our state reps at Waller Hall. Is their career center up there. He walks through service members through the process. So they go to him, and he basically tells them exactly what they need to do, get all that paperwork started, and then set up some exams so that they can get that claim put in before they get out, and then that hopefully he'll have a decision on the day they get out.
Because not only is it important to get just a rating, but because you get money for that rating, but right. You also don't have to pay funding fee on your VA loan if you get your VA loan because right. You're a disabled vet with 10% or greater. But if you get higher than that, there's other benefits with your kids and other things that you can get. So it's important to go through this. And then eventually, if there's an issue later on in life, you have record of it that you put in for the claim and you can always go back. Correct?
Right. Exactly. And then getting that healthcare set up too. So getting that eligibility for healthcare and then getting that kind of care network started, a lot easier than trying to jump into civilian healthcare.
Unless your wife works for Kaiser. But,
Right. Some of us are so lucky.
I think it's hard when to say that. I think it's hard hearing, even though there's a lot of truth in it, to say that you should set it up before you get out of the service.
Right.
Because sometimes I think when people are getting out, they're like done.
Oh yeah.
There's, experiences that regardless of the service that you're in, that you've had, that you want to disassociate yourself with the VA because you have mental mindsets of what that means to you. And so and I think probably that's the cog, is figuring out, like, so if you need to do that for the betterment of yourself, it's hard.
It is. Even me, unfortunately, I couldn't even follow my own advice at that point. I got out and didn't get that claim started, waited years because, it's not as bad as others out there. I don't want to be taking care from those, but you got to break that mindset. If you don't get it started, you'll be regretting it forever.
So I want to go back to what you just said, where vets like, I want to leave that money for the other guys. There's enough money for the other guys. There's enough money for you. There's enough money for everybody. That's what part of this is for, is to whatever happened to you while you were in, so you can be taken care of for the rest of your life.
Right. Exactly.
That's what happens when you sign on the line. That's what they signed up for, and you signed up for.
Yep. You were entitled to it. Take use of that.
But I can honor that it's hard, because it's almost like a dichotomy of truth. You didn't wound me, but you wounded me.
Right.
But you didn't wound me. Right.
Well, and I also think a lot of people are under the pretense that I can't go into law enforcement if I have a rating, which is not true. Not true at all. Because I deal a lot with the sheriff here and where I'm at, and he is a former West Point, and he was over there, and he has a rating because of the, hearing, from other stuff that was over there. So, and because I asked him about it, because I hear it constantly where people say, well, I can't, if I want to go in this, or this, I can't have a disability. That is not correct. That has nothing to do with being disabled through like the state of California, or, it's a totally different thing. This is totally different. The only thing caveat to that is PTSD. You have to have it resolved before you can do any of those kind of things.
Right. Yeah, that's another big hurdle, is just getting over at the barracks lawyers out there. There's a lot of information. People want to hear say, but
no, it's like, I heard this and I heard that. It's like, I heard today that you can only use your VA loan once. I'm like, that is such a lie. That's not the way it is.
Hearing this.
Yeah. Because that was from somebody else who had no idea about VA loans, right? It was, but they know so-and-so had it, and he was just told that they can only use it one time. No, you can use it forever, and now there is no limit on how much you can borrow. So get over that. But the benefits there, whether you go through the VA and get these other benefits, but they're really good for you to get these other benefits. Yes, Amy.
So thank you. Thank you for seeing my body language.
I have a thought.
Do you feel working with any specific service is harder to get them to do the things that benefit them? And I say that with a caveat that my dad served in the Marine Corps, and he's 80, right?
Oh, yeah.
And getting him to do veteran services, he's like, the government owes me nothing. And I can appreciate that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But I still feel like he should, because he did serve honorably, during the Vietnam conflict and different things like that. But he feels that he is not worthy, sort of like what you said, Ed, that, he doesn't want to take not 1 cent from another Marine that maybe gave more in his eyesight.
Right. Yeah, honestly, Marines and especially Vietnam veterans are always the most difficult to get that started.
Hard-headed.
Right. Hard-headed and just not really wanting to open that back up.
Right.
I don't take after him at all, just so you know.
Oh my gosh, that's a lie. If you're Pinocchio, your nose would be so much bigger now. All right, so what we should do is set up, if I'm a vet and I didn't do this in service and I have issues and I know it's in my medical record, how do I go through the process now to start a claim? And is there a time period that you only have so long to do it?
So the first real step of the process is called an intent to file ITF. that gives you, once you file that form, it gives you a year to submit the entire claim to the VA. So I'd say if you hadn't did it before service, as soon as you can, go to a local veteran service organization. So, our office, American Legion, Disabled American Veterans, find someone local has a little more expertise in the field and get started there and see what exactly the process is going to be.
Because you can file that online too, but unless you know how to fill it out and know every nuance of it, you could do it wrong. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, they make it easy to file online, but they leave a lot of things out of that online form.
Right.
I also think that finding the right advocate for you. Mm-hmm. So not every person who works for a veteran service organization is necessarily identifies with getting me the most benefits.
Right.
Or my veteran buddy who looks different than me, his most benefits. And so maybe being aware and finding the best advocate for you.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, there's organizations have chapters all across all the 50 states. So if you go into an office, you're not quite feeling any of the advocates there, don't be afraid to shop around and check out, have a conversation. If you don't, no sense of loyalty to any particular office, any office can handle a claim.
Right. And there's also people out there who do it for profit, right?
Right. Oh, unfortunately. You got to be on the lookout for those.
All right. So, guys, I know of an organization in San Diego when I was at this event and the guy was up on stage, how he's helped so many people. I'm thinking, but how are you affording everything you're doing? How much are you taking from the veteran? Because I assume they take so much money out of the first check that they get, right?
The one I've seen, they take however much would be the increase over your current rating, and they take that for 6 months.
Oh. What if you'd have no rating yet?
Then I think that they come up to a certain kind of payment plan off base what the compensation is going to be.
Right. Yeah.
So my buddy actually, he was charged like $300. And so I was going through mine and it took me a long time. Like not everybody wanted to actually represent me in the beginning.
I could see that.
So it took me a long time to find somebody who would be actually my advocate. And then my buddy, I was like, well, let's go through my buddy, right? Like he did right by me. I feel confident he'll do right by you. And he's like, no, I paid this $300 service. And I'm like, that's really weird because I had never heard anybody charge a veteran.
Right. Yeah,
so then finally he, like a year went by and he didn't. And he served for 12 years and had a lot of different things within. So he's very honest and open with me. So he sent me everything and he had so much meat and potatoes to his file. And so I finally got him to send it to my guy who is now giving him, and he has like a 70% disability rating.
Okay.
And it's life-changing for my friend.
Well, 70% is life-changing.
Right. It is to somebody who's a paraeducator who does nothing but volunteer, but doesn't actually take care of himself very well. Right. And so it enabled him to own his own home and get all these other things. But it was really confusing for me to know that there are companies out there that charge for it.
Right.
And here's the thing, but if they charged for it and did right by him, I wouldn't care.
Right.
But they charged him for it and did nothing for him.
Right. Yeah, that's not.
And we're not saying that the people who do charge, all of them are bad. We're not saying that's just a little caveat because we don't know and we don't, we just want to be careful here. But what we're saying is sometimes what I'm hearing is go to a service or find a place that could help you. But we're not saying that somebody that you pay or take part won't help you better because they're getting paid to do it. We're not saying that. We're just saying you need to find what works for you. Right.
Right. And at the very least, I always recommend making sure.
And I'll do a shout out to,
Let him finish.
You and your boss. Like,
stop cutting them off. What's your problem? Let the guest talk.
I was going to say, at the very least, just make sure your advocate is VA accredited. Because that's that kind of stamp of approval to let you know that they're most likely the real deal. Even if they're charging, if they have that accreditation, then they've at least gone through VA training.
All right. Go ahead, Amy. See how
I
that
was going to
works?
say, I do appreciate his office. Like, I feel like his whole team and his boss has always been pretty available and attuned to, like, this is what I see, and they've been able to respond to my concerns or what I'm seeing. And I appreciate that because, I do a lot with funding service animals or paying for roofs and different things like that. And so it's nice to have a team behind me that I can verify needs or verify resources and different things like that.
All right.
So
All right.
I
So,
thank you for that.
yeah. All right. So team you're talking about, Amy, is that Max, or are we talking about somebody else that has an organization that's helping people? I'm trying to understand what you're talking about.
It's the company that he works for. So it's the Washington State Department of Veteran Affairs.
All right. So, but it's a gentleman that works, or a lady or somebody that works there. Right. Okay.
Right. Yeah, we have whole other departments, counseling and development.
Not just you, just a bunch of people there.
Thankfully.
Now, and you guys only do it for people in Washington, right?
Right. That's unfortunate Washington State only, but I mean, pretty big state.
I should have somebody look at mine. It's been years since mine was done. So.
Right. Never too late.
No, just to upgrade it, come where I am now. Yeah. But I mean, a lot of people don't realize even getting the rating in California, your kids can go to the UC, the state schools and other stuff for free. You just have to pay for books, and up from 10% up to 99% disabled. And then 100%, they don't care how much your kid makes. They can make whatever and still do the same thing. But if you're under that, you can only, right now, I think it's maxed out at 12,000 something, and it changes each year. So I was able to send a couple of my kids that way. It was after the first 3 that I finally figured that out when someone told me that would happen, because that's the problem. A lot of this stuff is kept secret. And that's one of the reasons we're doing this show, is so that people understand what's out there. So you have these benefits, and if you need these needs, they're there.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. There's, just like you said, there's so many state, county, local level benefits that just don't get advertised very well. So
yeah, because also
office.
Right. In California, also, if you're 100% disabled, you get a discount on your property taxes. Right.
Right.
In other states, there's other discounts for, or whatever, if you're at that. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff. I mean,
right. Yeah. A lot of similar programs here.
Yeah. Which is important. Amy, you okay there? We're over here. All right. So Max, what else do people need to know when they're going through the process? What is usually what they don't think about? That, they're going through the process, and that, because, for me, doing a loan for a vet, I know everything they're going to run through. You must know certain things that's going to come up, and they should be okay with these things are going to come up, and I'll need this from you to go forward.
Right. Biggest thing is probably the exams. So no matter how much evidence you submit, the VA is going to want to verify that with their, a private doctor exam. So be ready to go through some more medical tests, barrage of questions, and just be open and honest with them. And that's the best you can really do.
All right. And so so starting the process, say have everything into you and you start the process. How long does the process normally take?
That really depends. There's what's called a fully developed claim. So you basically package all the evidence you think they're going to need and submit that to the VA. Those can take anywhere from maybe 3 to 6 months, a little bit faster. A non-fully developed, just a standard claim where you're asking that the VA gathers federal records or contacts your doctor to get records that you can't get a hold of. Those can be a little bit longer. Right now, anywhere from about 6 months up to about a year and a half at the most. But that's in dire cases where the records are not easily accessible, or you got to go to the National Archives for things.
So they can still go back and get your old medical records no matter how old they are?
They can try. Private records, always tricky, but
private records. I'm talking about military service records for your.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Even
so if you got out in the 90s, they still have them, is what you're saying.
Good chance. And it all goes to the National Archives to get held. So they had a fire there in the 70s, I believe, that destroyed a good amount of documents. So there may be a chance they're not there, but
yeah. So as long as it's later than the 70s, they should be there, is what you're saying.
Should be there.
Wow. Amy, your documents are there.
Well, I would also say what's nice is that however long it takes them, they pay you if they decide that you're 50% disabled or whatever it is. and you filed your claim in November of 2018, and it takes a year and a half to get it. So it's, 6 months later from year 2018, so 2019 or 2020, whatever it is, you get back pay.
Right.
Which
They retroactivate it. Yeah.
Right. From the moment that you filed your claim, that they decided it was, it had enough value and sustenance that they see it. Like you went and got profiles for your knees, and therefore they can show that your knees were damaged in the military, or your back, or your whatever. Right. And so even though it might seem arduous and long, it's worth it in the long run to do it, and it'll work out well for you.
Absolutely. And that's when those intent to files really come in key too, because you have a year from filing that to just get the claim in. If it takes them a year and a half from then, they're still back paying to that original intent to file date.
So should somebody file their intent to file and then come in and see you just to start that process?
It's not a terrible idea. I'd of course recommend just talking over, see to make sure you have something there that's not going to take over a year to gather, because you don't want that expiring on you.
So, and it's only for 1 year. So if it's missed by 1 day, then it starts on that day they're going forward.
Yeah. Right.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think a lot of people are afraid to go through the process. They're afraid that it's going to take too long. The whole process, or, why do I need it? Or, if you could get it, let's put it this way. You get close to retirement, you don't have a lot of money. You could actually get, your claim could be a lot of money. Right.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. Especially backdated claims like that. It's a good chunk of change.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, because I know when I got out, they just gave me 10%. I never went back. I was in the process in San Diego, and then I was in the mortgage industry. So we just got slammed and never looked back. So, but it's like, it's something that should have been there that I could have used for other things. And that's why I tell everybody, it doesn't matter when you do it, still go back. And even if you don't have anything at the time you got out, because you didn't apply, doesn't mean you can't apply now. And,
right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Every dollar counts, right?
That's correct.
Well, and our service counts.
Exactly.
This is part of our service package. And I think people misunderstand and think that it's separate from.
Right.
It's really not.
It's what you get from serving.
That's right. It's a benefit of that period, just like your home loan. Because I get so many people who talk about, well, they don't have to put money down. It's like, yeah, that's because we signed on the line. Right. And the VA loan is the least amount of going in foreclosure than any other loan out there. It's like so low, it's ridiculous. So that's why people can do it. And why we as vets, we pay our bills. It's just how it works usually.
Right. Right.
All right. We're going to get this back to normal because we're getting close to the end here. Anything else you want to add for today when people are going through the process they should think about? I know I keep asking the same thing, but sometimes that's how we get more.
Right. It can be daunting. There's a lot of legal language. Don't be afraid to reach out for help. Even just your friends and people that have gone through claims. It can kind of help talk to a scarier situation to something that's a little more manageable.
Max, if somebody has a question, is there a way that they could get in contact with you?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have a main phone line in the office. Go ahead and get that one for you. That's going to be 1-800.
Amy, you want to type?
I'm going to, yeah.
So wait till she'll type it, and then she'll throw up on a banner real quick.
Perfect. Okay.
I'm sure she already knows the area code, being in Washington State already.
So it's going to be 1-800-562-2308. So that just goes to the main phone in our service center there, so you can set up appointments or walk-ins. There's also our website, WDVA. Sorry.
Okay, Amy, in the future, you put it over under banners and make a banner. Because that right there says that's our phone number for helping the brave. That's not the case. I'm sorry. She's still learning. It's brand new.
No worries.
You'll have to get rid of what you just... Oh, is that a comment you made there, Amy?
It was.
Yeah. All right, I tell you. All right. So, but there's no actual way to get a hold of you if they had questions for you, right? Because that's you all have your own things to do.
If I can get my personal email too, yeah. So personal email is just be maxwell.gumbinger@dva.wa
All right, they can hit replay again and get that number there.
Okay.
We'll put it in actually the comments afterwards. After we're done, we'll have it on the YouTube channel afterwards. So then people will be watching this after the fact. They can go to the YouTube channel and they'll be down there in the description. We'll put it in there. Okay.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, that's my agency email. So if anyone has questions.
All right, Max, thank you so much for being here. And thanks for, making it, because people have questions. They want to know where to go, and we want to get that information to them.
Right. Absolutely. Great resource. Hey, thank you for having me. It's a good time.
All right, Amy, anything else?
Nope, that's it. And if you like what you hear, definitely follow us. And thank you so much for watching.
All right.